everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I am reviewing the new KATE YOKU collection, as you guys voted for this one over the Hindash palette for me to review first, so here it is. So this collection was done in collaboration with the very talented artist and animator Yoneyama Mai. She is most well known for her work in Neon Genesis Evangelion. To be honest, I've never heard of her name before. I know what Evangelion is, but I don't follow anime like that, so I don't know the names of the individual illustrators and whatnot. But if you're a fan of Evangelion, you probably already know who she is. You guys have to watch the promotional video for this collection. They released basically an entirely new song and video dedicated to the YOKU collection alone. It is Yoneyama Mai's artwork combined with a new single by Eve, who I think is one of those virtual artists, I'm not sure. Like, it's him singing and composing the actual music, but he never shows his face. Although the music and the video are not really my personal taste, I do have to give props where it's due and definitely take a moment to just recognize the sheer talent. I've never seen an animation with just like so much detail moving across the screen with such seamless fluidity. It's like more detailed than real life objects and people almost. It's like hyper real. Hyper detailed and fluid looking are the first words that pop to my mind to describe it. It's crazy because I can't imagine how much effort it takes to just produce one slide, let alone however many you need to make a full animation. I'll link the full video in the description box below, and I really encourage you to watch it if you have time. Part of me is like, why would you waste all of this talent on KATE? Like, no shade to KATE at all, but this deserves a high-end brand collaboration, right? For both Yoneyama Mai and Eve. Although, spoiler alert, these eyeshadows perform better than most eyeshadows that I've tried from Japanese high-end brands anyway, so I guess I should eat crow at this point. Yoku means desire in Japanese, so like something that you want, something you desire. It can also mean appetite, like when you say shokuyoku, it means appetite or your desire for food is what it literally translates to. Seiyoku, sexual desire. I am all about manifesting my own desires these days through the power of my will and subconscious alone, so needless to say, this whole concept really resonated with me, as if the stunningly fabulous artwork wasn't enough of a reason to purchase already. The collection has in total 2 eyeshadow palettes, 3 multi-diamond glitters, 6 Line Expert Mai color pencil liners, not I, but Mai, and 1 Slim Create highlighter palette. I missed this during filming, but apparently there is a whole other component to this collection which consists of 80 plus single eyeshadows that you can pick and choose to customize your own palette. And this is an online exclusive that is also part of the YOKU collection. So that is pretty freaking amazing. Also really bad news for my wallet. I purchased both eyeshadow palettes as well as the highlighter palette. So let's just dive into the palettes first. EX-1 is this fiery, like solar flare, golden color story. Very Leo vibes, you know, like think universe, high resolution pictures of the actual sun. Okay, super gorgeous. And EX-2, which is like a plum, muted purple color story. Think Sugar Plum Fairy, but a little bit angsty. I don't know. Each palette comes with 4 eyeshadows that are also all 4 distinct formulas. And they are labeled counterclockwise here as A, B, C, and D. A is called See-Through Glow. This is a cream formulation which blends out to a very beautiful, subtle, semi-glossy stain meant to be used as a base. Then we move to B, just a classic matte, although it's that sheer Japanese type of matte formula that gives you the watercolory, cloudy effect that I actually really like. C is their pearl formulation. The shimmer in this is so subtle and refined that you can't even see the individual particles. It just looks like seamless shimmer once applied, but without losing any pigmentation, which is exactly how it should be. And D finally is their Prism Crush formulation for their topper shade, which I believe is the showstopper of the entire palette. Well, no, I can't even say that in good conscience because I actually think that every single shadow here pretty much knocks it out of the ballpark. I give a 10 out of 10 for every single shade and formula in these palettes, which I don't think I've done for any other product in the history of my YouTube channel or my life. But yeah, Prism Crush and the base cream color in particular, these are like game changers in my opinion. I just don't see how any other brands can live up to these. The cream, which is A, it's not too oily or wet, but also definitely not drying. Like, it doesn't dry out your eyes, but it's tacky and sticky enough to stay on and stay put all day. in the same spot. And the other shadows, they have zero fallout on their own anyway, but once combined onto this cream base, it's really a match made in heaven. Everything stays locked in place all day. You do not have to worry about your eyeshadow smudging or falling off. And then D, the Prism Crush Topper shades. This is what I've been wishing for Japanese drugstore brands, or just Japanese brands in general, to do for decades, okay? No joke. This gives you that beautiful semi-wet shimmery effect that just brings the spotlight to the center of your lids or wherever else you apply it like no other. I mean, look at that. There is just no comparison, okay? Flat eyelid girls, rejoice. By Japanese standards, the texture is also chunky enough to give a super reflective and iridescent effect. But compared to most Western brands, the crushed foil bits are still very, very finely milled. So overall, the effect is still very translucent, wet looking, just exquisite, okay, on all fronts. The thing that really seals the deal for me though, these actually pick up relatively easily from the pans. It is easier with a finger than a brush, as is usually the case with most topper shades, but you can run your finger over this pan over and over again many times in succession and it won't go hard pan on you. It also actually sticks onto your lids without flaking off, whether that's on bare skin or over a couple of layers of eyeshadow. You can even layer up the Prism Crush shade on top of itself up to a certain extent to build maximum opacity and impact. Okay, sorry, I need to take a green tea crushy break. This is not a frappuccino. This is called a crushy from this coffee shop called Mariba Coffee, and it is so good. Holy crap. So smooth and like not too sweet, not too bitter. Why didn't I try this earlier? Like, I don't know if you understand that Kate has done the impossible here. Kate has managed to do what Shu Uemura couldn't even do. Like, they attempted to, but couldn't quite get there with their crushed stone formulation. This one right here, because this one gets hard pan the moment that you touch it, and then you have to like dig up the product with your nail or a brush, but then it's another challenge to actually transfer it onto your eyelid and then smooth it out. You end up with a hot mess more often than not. Same thing goes for Misha. Misha also had a very similar formula with their glitter prism eyeshadows. I wonder if it has to do with the marble design that both Shu Uemura and Misha elected to use for the optics of the pans, because the thing is, once you swatch or apply them, they don't look marbly, right, on the skin. They just look like this. Except this one by Kate is far superior. It may look plainer in the pan, but in terms of actual application and performance, it is far, far superior to both Shu Uemura and Misha, and probably everyone else's efforts. Everyone else can just go home, seriously, like including myself, if we're gonna keep it real. Although I am at home technically, so checkmate, Kate. No, but seriously, to tell you the truth, I was a little bit not skeptical, but like I guess a little underwhelmed when I saw the testers in the store. I guess because I didn't bother swatching them, I knew I was going to purchase something anyway. But yeah, when I was looking at the palettes in the store, the shadows looked very unassuming in the pans. So at first I was kind of like, 3,000 yen, really? Just for these relatively basic looking shades? Plus it has no mirror in the palettes. Although that's fine. Like, let's reduce unnecessary waste in the form of mirrors for eyeshadow palettes. So I have no problem with that. At the end of the day, I was ready to pay whatever though, because I do believe that Yoneyama Mai deserves to have a high price tag on whatever collaboration she's a part of. But I was also hoping to get some really, really special shadows out of the deal too, you know? And I did, voila! You know, now that I know how these look just absolutely otherworldly on the eyes, I'm just in complete bliss. And honestly, I believe that these deserve to be panned. 100%. And ideally, it is my hope that every single eyeshadow palette that passes through my hands gets panned in at least one shade, but we all know that that is not the reality. However, for this collection, I think I might legitimately get annoyed at myself if I don't manage to pan at least one shade. Because at that point, it's like, what's wrong with me, you know? They just look so, so good. Like, I can't even believe it. Do you see this? I think the finished effect speaks for itself. And these are also versatile too. I feel like I don't need to confine my usage to just these palettes alone. I can combine like the base shade or the topper shade with a lot of other different palettes and products. So yeah, we're definitely gonna have a problem, or I'm gonna have to rethink my makeup consumption habits if I can't even manage to pan one shade. I'm gonna say one shade in each palette. So yeah, there you go. I can't take it back now. These are removable too, by the way. So you can poke the pans out through these holes back here with a push pin or something, and then you can put other Kate singles in it, which is genius, by the way, the fact that they designed this collection the way they did, because people are definitely going to want to continue using these palettes even if they finish up the original shadows inside. You know, the artwork is so exquisite. It's a collector's item, definitely one of a kind. People are definitely not going to want to throw these palettes away once they're finished with the shadows, so this is going to encourage people to buy from Kate's single eyeshadow line as well. All the single ladies, all the single ladies. Okay, I'm going to quickly show swatches for the Slim Create highlighter duo here as well, but for the review and demo, I'm going to save that for another video. The reason for that being that I actually used the eyeshadow palettes for my cheek stuff today. In the instructions on the boxes here, they suggest that you use the shade B to double as your blush color and then follow up with D as a cheek highlight, which is what I've also done on both sides of my face. So I think for the highlighter duo, it's gonna have to be a completely different look and vibe. But don't worry, I will come back with part 2 of the Kate and YOKU collection review. Possibly part 3. No, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Thank you so much for watching as usual. I hope you enjoyed today's review. Stay tuned for part 2 of the Kate YOKU collection review. Bye!